Well, the Seattle Seahawks, by some people, have been underestimated by the NFL and by the media. But Colin Cowherd recently had the Seahawks in a surprising position in the NFC West.
It's football time.
Alrighty, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the RL Sports Podcast, or sports, everything on this channel. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we are talking about the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, of course, have been doubted by most of the more media, which is a normal thing. But recently, Colin Cowherd, host of The Herd, recently spoke out on his final prediction as he had the Seahawks in the number one spot to win the division with only the Rams and Niners behind. Very similar to my division predictions. He also had a few other ones as well, but I'll get into those at a later date. The Seahawks have been quite busy this offseason, of course, nailing the draft, of course, having the offensive line getting better by every day. But the question is, the Seahawks a dangerous team in the NFL? I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Before we do, if you guys do enjoy this video, do me a big favor and smash the button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. For now, let's talk about the Seahawks. Seahawks. I do believe they're a growing threat in the NFC because if we look at the Seahawks last year, they were 10-7. And of course, that was with Geno Smith, but Sam Darnold and Geno are not that different. But Colin Cowherd, I gotta say, I gotta applaud him for putting Seattle in first place because I know not a lot of people have put Seattle in the first place spot either. But of course, I wanted to mention this. Seattle's defense has been one of the more sneakier defenses to keep an eye on. As recently mentioned by Max uh, Loeb, I think is his name, he had the Seahawks defense ranking in ninth in the NFL total for next year's total stats, only behind the Chiefs and the New York Football Giants. But the Seahawks, they've ranked very high in their defense last year. The only category they ranked outside of the top 15 last year in ranking was the rush defense. Of course, that's going to get better with Ernest Jones on the squad that they traded for last year. But to Seattle, I think they're going to be a sneaky team next year to keep an eye out for. Because if we look at their schedule, it's not that easy, but of course, there's some easier games more than others. Of course, you got the 49ers in week 1 of the NFL season. That hopefully should be a win. Then you also got the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 2, which the Seahawks have beaten Aaron Rodgers in their fair share of games. Then you got a bye week game against the New Orleans Saints. Then you got the Arizona Cardinals, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jaguars, the Texans before you go on your bye week, and then you take on the Commanders that week afterwards. And then you got the Cardinals, the Rams on the road in LA. Then you got the Tennessee Titans on the road, and then you got the Vikings, then the Falcons, the Colts, and then the Thursday night game against the Rams, which the Seahawks will be debuting their new rivalry jerseys, which will be revealed in 2 weeks, which I'm very excited to see what they look like. But then they go against the Carolina Panthers and then finish it all off with San Francisco. I look at the Seahawks, their defense is likely going to be a top 10 unit in the NFL next year because their defense was phenomenal last year. Did you know that the Seahawks had the third highest pressure rate in the NFL last year by out of any team? And then only that, their offensive line massively improved this offseason. In their first preseason game, they only allowed 1 sack in that game against the Raiders. The offensive line is improving, primarily because of Gray Zabel, and then also along with the other 2 offensive linemen they drafted, Bryce Calhoun and Mason Richmond. But the Seahawks, I believe, are getting better. I believe retooling was necessary. DK, sure, he's going to be a missing piece on this team, but he was a kind of hothead anyways.
I have come home, master. This is no longer your home, and I am no longer your master.
So it wasn't like he was doing much. He was drawing too many unnecessary penalties, so that hopefully should die down. Tyler Lockett, I was surprised by the Seahawks letting him go, but at the same time, he had to we had to move in a different direction. But Seattle, I believe their team is really sneaky this upcoming year. And I do believe, like Cowherd said, can win the division because him and I's predictions were very similar. Has Colin Cowherd been watching me? I'm just curious. But of course, the 49ers are of course the main threat to the Seahawks, also along with the Rams. But the 49ers I don't think are as good as many people are hyping them up to be. But the Seahawks, they are a growing threat because Seattle, they've got a defense. If we know anything from Mike McDonald's year 2 experiences, he changes the defense around in a snap. Because when he was with the Ravens a few years ago, he was a defensive coordinator for him. The second year he was there, they had the number 1 defense in the NFL. Now, am I saying the Seahawks are going to be number 1 defense? No. But Seattle has the personnel. You just added DeMarcus Lawrence, who is a young veteran, who is still a good veteran, but is a leader as well. You also have Leonard Williams still there. You got Ernest Jones, who was a big piece halfway through last year. Then you also still got Boye Mafe and Derek Hall. You still got Jaron Reed and Jonathan Hankins. And you still got other guys on the front seven like Uchenna Nwosu if he is healthy. And then let's look at their offense. You got JSN, Cooper Kupp, MVS, Corey Horton. You also got other guys like AJ Barner, Elijah Arroyo, K9, Charbonnet, and maybe even George Hollandy or Damian Martinez. I did like what I saw from Hollandy in preseason games. I believe that guy's been massively slept on. But when I look at the Seahawks, I don't think there's an opportunity. I don't think there's nobody in the NFL looking at them right now because they're afraid.
Come on, Junior. Wait here, Junior. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. You. I am the Dominator. I am the Destroyer. I am Megatron.
Of what Seattle's building, they are afraid because I've talked with multiple fans around the NFL, and they have said Seattle is a growing threat. The ones I've talked to, Seattle's building something dangerous in the Pacific Northwest. And I would not be surprised if Seattle were to at least either win or make a Super Bowl appearance in the next 3 to 4 years. Because Seattle has a great team around them. They are building something for the future. They may not have that much draft capital next year for draft, but there's going to be a lot of available free agents out there that the Seahawks could go out there and grab. But I still believe the Seahawks might still need some wide receiver help. Maybe they go out there and make a move to get another receiver added up in there. Maybe like Amari Cooper or Tyler Boyd. Maybe they go out there and get another guard like Brandon Sheriff or someone else. Maybe get another edge rusher and bring back Jadeveon Clowney. But the Seahawks are a growing threat in the NFC. So, see, for other teams in the NFC, I want to watch out because Seattle, in its year 1 phase under Mike McDonald, is only going to get stronger in year 2. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think the Seahawks are a growing threat in the NFC? Let me know in the comments what you guys think down below. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do me a favor. Smash the button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao for now.